Combine various materials to transmute new items. There really isn't much in the way of story. It's a dungeon crawling game. But like, as much as I enjoy a good narrative, when a game is mechanically really sound, I enjoy it, and this one I think actually is. You can find Dark of Alchemist on iOS and Android. Number 9 is Space Pioneer. Frankly, a really cool looking top-down shooter with some mild RPG mechanics in which you build a space base, customize it, build out, and basically protect it against hordes of enemies. I just like that it has this sort of colorful, low poly, kinda retro, kinda not retro look to it, and the gameplay itself is actually very tight and enjoyable. You get various items that you can use during combat, you can build up little sort of tower defense-esque mechanisms, and frankly, it's fun. Space Pioneer is out on both iOS and Android. Number 8 is Might and Magic Elemental Guardians, a game that bills itself as a strategy RPG with a faster pace than your typical one, but I would actually say it leans much closer to your typical sort of social RPG. Not that that is a bad thing, it's actually a very good instance of that kind of game. Essentially, you spend your time evolving various magical creatures, in the case of this game, ones that are from Might and Magic, collecting them, making them more powerful, and engaging in competitive PvP, because why wouldn't you? Now again, personally, if you don't like social RPGs and you don't like the idea of kind of doing fairly traditional turn-based combat against other people, you probably won't like this game, but if you do like those things, this is among the best examples of that kind of thing, and I enjoyed it. You can get Might and Magic Elemental Guardians on iOS and Android right now. Number 7 is Axio, a game that I think could be described kind of as a battle royale game with axes, and from a top-down perspective, and much more frantic. Like, this game comes for you very fast. You are thrown in the deep end, there's tons of people, and they're all throwing axes at each other, and that's where you start. It's a last man standing situation, so you gotta learn the controls or die fast, and you'll probably die a lot. If anything, the one minor thing I would say isn't great about it is that it is quite repetitive, but if we're gonna be totally honest, I don't think that's a barring characteristic. It's fun, and sometimes you just want something you can pick up and play for a little while, get good at, compete in. It's that kind of a game. It also does it extremely well. Frankly, this developing over time, I think, could actually be something that's enjoyable. I like it quite a bit. You can get Axio or Ax.io on iOS and Android right now. Number 6 is Moon Surfing, which is kind of a free roam tech deck simulation combined with moon exploration. It's about as close as I'm going to be able to get to a concise explanation of what's going on in this game. There's waypoints, it's big, it's the moon, you go around using a hoverboard. It's kind of an endless runner, but not really. I feel like it's one of those games that's very hard to describe in a manner that makes real, true sense. It's something you have to play, and I'm fully going to admit there's probably people that just absolutely hate this game. I have no idea why they even bother trying it, but I sense that there is definitely a audience for it. It is interesting to me. Moonsurfing is out on both iOS and Android. At least check it out. It's different. Number 5 is Super Doggo Snack Time, which is one of those cornball games that you can't help but be like, all right, fine, I'll try it, after everybody tells you to try it. The doggo, as some people call dogs now, is charged with catching various snacks that are falling off of the table. It is a dumb premise, and it is not attempting to tell you that it is not a dumb premise. It's a fun game, though. It's got intuitive controls. It's surprisingly satisfying as various things happen. The animations are fun, the sounds are fun, and truly, it's just a dumb, fun game. You might get bored eventually, but it is actually a funny, fun, decently written, goofy, weird thing, and it's worth the time just for that. I'm not going to tell you that this is the second coming of chess or something, but if you understand that going in, I think this is something you can enjoy a lot. Super Doggo Snack Time is out on iOS and Android. Number 4 is Jurassic World Alive. It's a riff on Pokemon Go. Only obviously you don't catch them in Pokeballs because that would be absurd and also copyright infringement. You actually just use drones to dart them. And I think you'll find that this is surprisingly fun. It's not going to be something I think that we're doing a year from now. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. But for now, it actually is an enjoyable game. I will say I don't want to build expectations that it's not going to live up to. I mean, this is basically movie promotion, but that doesn't mean it can't be fun, and it actually is. I mean, unless you truly hate Pokemon Go, which don't play this then. It's that simple. Jurassic World Alive is free on both iOS and Android, and is basically absurd. It's basically absurd that this exists. Number 3 is Disney Heroes Battle Mode, which is sadly not Super Smash Bros., but with Disney Heroes. Maybe we'll one day get that, but at least this is worth playing. It's a fun, kinda social RPG, kinda not. It really doesn't get too far into the social elements, but it does obviously take a lot of its management of the various characters and upgrades and all that from the social RPG arena. It's basically a game for people that like grinding and battling, and that's what it is. I mean, it doesn't pretend that it's something else. It's literally named Battle Mode. And as somebody who likes the sort of traditional RPG style combat, including all the various riffs we've seen on it lately, I like this game. I'm not going to pretend it brought anything particularly new to the table, but it is fun to do this kind of a game with Disney heroes. If you don't agree with that statement, again, not for you. If you do, it's everything you want from it. Disney Heroes Battle Mode is out on iOS and Android. Number 2 is Dungeon Hunter Champions, an action RPG. And although I'm not going to say that it actually plays like Dark Souls, it kind of weirdly reminds me of what social Dark Souls would be if it was extremely arcade oriented and you had a lot of the sort of Diablo influence on the actual combat. What I'm talking about is the setup and structure of the game. It's not hard to find the influence that Dark Souls has had on the overall gaming world playing this game. And I'm sure that there's going to be people that are like, why on earth did you compare this to Dark Souls? I'm not saying you should play it if you like Dark Souls. I'm saying there's a clear influence in the structure of the setup of the game. As far as the visuals, it obviously looks nothing like Dark Souls. It's colorful, it's pretty. It has that kind of cartoony, kind of not look that is actually quite pleasing to the eye, and in a lot of ways ends up feeling like an MMORPG, but an action RPG that's set up in a more Roman sort of level-ish zone type situation. It's worthwhile and fun. That's like the main thing that you need to take from it. It tries to combine several things, and I think competently does. And you can get Dungeon Hunter Champions on iOS and Android. And finally, number 1 is Dragon Ball Legends, a 3D cartoon fighting looking game that isn't a fighting game. It's actually a card game that manages to be one of the most interesting and kinetic card games you've ever played because they do not spare any expense over what's going on. This looks like a full-fledged Dragon Ball fighting game, but the controls are literally like Clash Royale without the game board. And I don't know what you're going to think of that hearing it, but playing it, it's fun as hell. Like I said, it is kinetic, it's wild, it feels like urgent at every moment you're playing it, and I really enjoy the hell out of this game. I've been playing it a lot, probably more than any of the other games on this list, and I think you should give it a shot as well. It's out on iOS and Android now. And a quick bonus game for you, World of Tennis Roaring Twenties, a 1920s tennis simulation, which is just, I don't know what anybody thought of making this game for, but it is actually a lot of fun. It does a decent job with tennis mechanics, keeps it interesting, keeps it fun. I'm not going to pretend this isn't a tennis game. It is, you know what you're getting with it. It's a good version of tennis, and I just like that they went for the 1920s for whatever reason. What free iOS or Android game did you like best this past month? Leave us a comment. If you like this video, click the like button. And if you're not subscribed now, it of course would be a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is of course a subscription. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.